Welcome everyone to the Smash the Halls holiday event. I'm your host DiAngelo Yarman, and I am so excited about the show that we're having for you this evening. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and my team's heart for joining us tonight. Now, Smash the Halls is more than just a tournament. It's a holiday Smash experience. Let's just say little Timmy comes up to you after school saying, Mommy, I want to be an esports gamer. And you're just like, oh my God, do I have to take this kid to therapy? Is this like AI or something? No, Mom, it's a real thing. Now, this is a place where kids, families, and those aspiring to get into the fighting game community can come together and enjoy themselves and honestly just learn about the industry itself. Tonight, we'll be starting out with a how to play workshop with 8 a.m. at night. Then we'll be jumping into an informational collegiate Q&A with industry professional and insider Ashley Jones and Nicholas Lawson. After that, we're having a nail-biting, soul-searching, sweat on the forehead, oh my lord, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament Finals. As Kendrick Lamar once said, squabble up. And closing out the night, we will have a panel discussion with those who know the pro and community scene the best, WC, Rally, and Shattered. So get into the chat, whether it's YouTube or Discord. We have some excellent moderators there for you. If you have any questions, concerns, they're there just for you. Now let's not waste any more time and get straight into it.
Hello everyone, I am 8 a.m. and I have been given a tremendous task on showing you guys how to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let's go ahead and get started with the main menu here. We have Games and More, which is going to give you your classic mode, your training, your home run contest where you beat a sandbag. You get to make a Mii fighter, it's your own custom character, pretty cool, and you can build stages here. Now we have your Vault, which is actually going to hold some pretty cool stuff, in-game sound audios, replays of your best clips from Smash. You've got challenges where the game challenges you to do pretty cool stuff like beating classic mode on maximum difficulty, and records to show how many times you've pressed A or B or jumped or how far you've gone. Then we're going to have online mode, which is actually pretty cool. You're going to play against your friends or random people online. It's pretty nice. And then we have Spirits. It's an extra game mode where you collect stickers and go on a board. It's a pretty nice adventure game, and I think it's pretty nice. Then we have Smash. This is going to be the main part where you're going to be playing into, where you're going to be choosing your characters and just having fun. But before we go into that, I'm going to show you guys how to have fun in this game and pretty much how to beat your friends, because that's all why we're here. We have a tremendous amount of characters here. We've got from Mario to Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to pick a pretty classic round character, which is Mario. He's a middle weight class, which is pretty nice. I did forget to mention that there are weight classes in this game, so it kind of is important who you pick. We have characters like Ganondorf, where he's kind of heavy, and then we have characters like Jigglypuff, where she is literally a ball of air. Like I said before, we're going to go with Mario, who's kind of in between both. Every character is going to have pretty much a basic moveset. For Mario, we're going to go over his jumping and his attacks and his specials. So let's go ahead and get started into it. To jump, you can either press up on your analog stick or X. To use a special move, you're going to press B. And the cool thing about special moves, they have 3 different variations. You have down B, which is down on the analog and pressing B. And Mario has a very unique move where he can actually press this move twice and have 2 different outcomes. After charging, you get to use your Flood, like so. Then we're going to have his side special, where you can press left or right and B at the same time. Then we have up B, which is moving the analog stick up and pressing B at the same time. This is called your up special. Now we're going to go ahead and get into his attacks. So you're going to have A, and if you press A 3 times, he does a nice little combo. It's pretty cool. So now we're going to go ahead and go into smash attacks. It's when you hold left or right or down or up and A at the same time. So in this instance, I'm going to do right and A. This is a smash attack. That's pretty much going to be your strongest move. And as you can see, I made him go flying. You can either do this in left or right. Now we're going to go to down smash, which is holding your analog stick down and A at the same time. Once again, pretty hard move. Now we're going to go to its up smash, which is holding, you guessed it, up on the analog stick and A at the same time. You can see that this move set him flying in the air. So, you just saw that Pitt managed to get back on the stage. If you fall, you can actually die and lose one of your lives. So, to avoid that, we're actually going to jump in the air and press up B to get on stage. Now, when it comes to jumping, you have two jumps when you're on the ground, and you only have one jump when you're in the air. So, one more thing before we actually get into fighting a moving computer instead of a stable one. We're actually going to go into tilt attacks. Tilt attacks are kind of like smash attacks, but instead of charging the A button, you're just going to lightly tap it. This is a down tilt. You're going to press down on the analog stick and lightly press A. Now we're going to go into side tilts, where you're going to move your stick left or right and tap A. Now we're going to do an up tilt, where once again, you're going to move your analog stick upwards and lightly tap A. Oh, and one more thing. You can do everything that I just said while in the air. This is aerial attacks. We're going to do a couple of them just to show you. This is down air. This is forward air. And this is up air. Same with your specialists. Side B, down B, and up B. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So now, we're going to go into an actual match. Before we get into it, we're going to go over rule sets. For here, I just have the basic standard 3 stock and 7-minute time rule set, but stage hazards off. From here, you can either choose a random stage or a random omega stage. The only difference between the two is that one is flat, like this one, and one is flat and has 3 platforms, like this one. So I'm going to once again choose Mario. And from here, I'm just going to fight a simple level 3 computer. Alright, so we're going to try and use some of the moves that I showed you guys. So we have our aerials, our specials, and our attacks. And not to forget our smash ones too. Now our objective is to knock this person off the stage and make sure they can't come back. Now you can see that they've already lost 1 life. As long as we can keep this up, we'll do just fine. Alright, we've got 1 more life left. Let's see if we can get him off. Oh man, it seems like we lost a life. Well, we're almost there. Alright, and just like that, the computer is down, and we've won the match. You beat the computer, and you won the game. But you're hungry for more. Let me give you some intermediate tips. We're going to go ahead and go back into the training game mode, and let me show you some pretty cool things you can do. I'm going to go ahead and choose Mario again for this. I want to show you guys some pretty cool combos that we have. When you down tilt, you can actually follow up with a lot of different moves. For this instance, I'll show you a down tilt into up tilt. So, this only works when the computer's damage percentage is pretty low. The higher your percentage, the farther person gets knocked back. Now, let's go into pummeling. When you grab something, you can actually grab them and hit them multiple times by pressing the grab button. This will get their percentage up pretty high. After pummeling, you can finish it off by throwing them in any random direction, by moving your analog stick left, right, down, or up. As you can see, their percentage went up pretty high. Now, I'm going to go into some aerial moves. When you jump and press your attack button, your aerial hitbox is about the same size as your character. Now, as I said before, we can use aerial moves in any direction. Utilizing our aerial moves and our tilts will leave some pretty devastating combos. Now, I'm pretty sure you saw that when I attacked them, they didn't take any damage. That's because that was a get up animation. Get up animations occur when a player is on the ground and they get up. During that entire sequence, they are not able to be damaged, like so.
Just like every great tutorial teaches you the basics, Nintendo's all about helping you discover new ways to play. Whether you're mastering your first jump, perfecting a combo, or finally figuring out how not to fall off the map, again, Nintendo makes learning part of the adventure. So if you're ready to level up, head over to the Nintendo store to see our special offers.
Alright, so they've got a pretty high percentage. As I said before, the only way to get a character out is by knocking them off stage. A pretty cool thing you can do is spike the character downwards. Like so. Even though I hit him down, he went upwards. It's a pretty cool technique, and it'll leave devastating damage done to your opponents. So, let's go ahead and use these techniques in a real game. I had the same settings I used earlier, but this time we're going to go to a flat stage, and we're going to up the difficulty on the computer. And for now, let's choose a different character, just to showcase the variety that each character has in Smash. Alright, try to keep up. This will be pretty fast. Here's my aerial moves, followed by a down smash. Here's my grab. With a down smash. Alright, so Little Mac has a pretty cool, unique thing to his own, where he has a KO gauge. His KO gauge will actually allow him to KO someone by pressing the B button. Alright, this Ryu is kind of hard to get off stage. Let's see if we can get him. Alright, looks like we got him off stage. Alright, let's see if we can land this special move. And there's the knockout. Okay, the side B managed to land. We're going to try to combo him with some up tilts. Looks like we got our combo gauge again. Let's see if we can land it on him one last time. And there's the KO. Well, we got the dub with our special techniques that we learned from the advanced training class. So, there you have it. Here's some bonus content for you. If you're ever playing the game and feel like these controls just aren't your speed, you can actually change the controls of your specific controller in the game. So, you can either go to this menu by going into Smash and going to the bottom right corner here, or you can go to the option menu and go to controls like this as well. So, we're going to go ahead and go to the specific controller. For me, I'm using GameCube. So, as you can see here, we have a whole list of different things that I've already shown you guys. Jump, attack, special. And down here in the corner, we have rumble, A and B to use smash attack, and stick jump. Now, I personally have mine off, so I can use my tilt moves a lot easier. Then we have stick sensitivity for high, normal, and low. This will have the exact amount of pressure you want to make sure that your moves come out just how you want them to. For me, I personally have them on high. So, let's go ahead and test out these controls. Let's say I wanted to switch my special and attack buttons. All I had to do was click on it and reset them. The game actually shows you which moves aren't set at all. Let's say I wanted my jump to also be my attack. We can also go back into settings and choose stick jump to be on. This layout can be used for any controller that you have. This is a Pro controller, and we can do the exact same thing that we've done. The game will actually allow you to test these controllers live time. And as you can see in the bottom right corner, it shows you what buttons you're pressing. What normally is my A has now become my special. And what normally is my special has now become my A. And as you can see, we have stick jump on. So, pretty cool technique that we have is A and B, which is for smash attacks to be set when instead of flicking your controller stick left or right, you can actually press A and B at the same time to do a smash attack, like so. And it shows you in the bottom right corner as well. Alright, and that concludes the control scheme tutorial. Now you don't have an excuse as to why your controls don't work or your character's not moving the way you want it to. Thank you for enjoying this tutorial, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.
It's the gateway to your dream. It's getting the mix just right. It's getting the perfect take. It's putting your art in motion. It's going beyond playing games and actually creating them. It's doing what you love every day.
Thank you, 8 a.m. at night, for a sensational session. That was a perfect workshop for new, curious players. For a washed unk like me, who hasn't played Smash in quite some time, that made me want to take the sticks and dive in just for a little bit. Now, for all of you who have been practicing already and are looking to take the next step into maybe something more structured, up next, we have a bunch of great information about the fighting game community as it relates to college. Full Sail's University's very own AJ will be answering questions and giving us any inside look at the support system colleges provide. Without further ado, here's AJ.
Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Lawson and I'm an alumni from Full Sail University. I'm currently now the head esports coach of MSU West Plains here in Missouri, and I sit on the subcommittees of the Fortnite and competition committees for the NJCAAE. We operate a regional esports team here locally, also known as the West Plains Vanguard. But without further ado, let's get to Ashley Jones.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley Jones, or AJ. My background primarily comes from the collegiate esports space as well. I was a head coach at Park University. After that point in time, I was the director of membership for the National Association of Collegiate Esports. And now I am one of the course directors here at Full Sail that is working in the game business and esports degree program.
Perfect. Well, it's wonderful to have you here, AJ. We'll get straight into the questions, and I'll try to keep this going as quickly as possible. So you've held roles ranging from collegiate head coach to NACE leadership to FGC advisory board member. What originally drew you into esports and eventually the fighting game community?
Yeah, so I think what drew me into esports initially was League of Legends. That's my primary game, like it or don't. And I think that when I was playing League of Legends, and at the time I was really already engrossed into the game itself when the professional scene really started to kind of unfold. So being there from the beginning and seeing where it was when it first started to where it is today definitely kind of drew me into more of the esports side of things for gaming. So after that point in time, I never really thought esports could be a actual career path and something that I could, focus on. But I did some things for fun, right, when I was still working at the university in a different capacity. And then when esports and collegiate really started coming together, that kind of big boom in that 2018 area, when I saw that, I took a leap, right? I applied to a bunch of esports head coach jobs from around the country, and that's how I ended up at Park University.
So as a previous head coach over at Park University, there's a lot of team-based esports, a lot of operations. Do you think there were room for more coaches in the FGC, or do you think it's been such a player-driven 1v1 esport that they might not take well to outside coaching?
Yeah, the fighting game community, right, and the group around it is so steeped in kind of this nostalgia and the grassroots of it all, right? When I was at Park, we didn't have a huge population on campus that was interested in Smash, interested in any other fighting games at the time. So myself, I never felt the need to pursue that as an option. So I think with the fighting games, I think there could be coaching. Again, this is speaking just for kind of an outsider's perspective. But I think there's always a kind of coaching that can be done, really with any title that you're looking to find some competitiveness in. You can always go back and self-critique and watch your own VODs and see what you're able to do better. But sometimes having that outside perspective, somebody that spends a lot of time studying the game, studying the different characters, which ones are stronger than which at this point in time, you know, based on meta, I think that there is always that opportunity to embrace some outside counsel and guidance in terms of coaching. I know that we've seen more of that, I think, come to the table because I'm not going to say we've taken esports out of this grassroots idea, right? But really kind of taking these fighting games and inserting them into education. It does help that scene with some structure and stability that it might not have had prior.
I will say it seems that the fighting scene has changed. I think this year the SSBU roster is probably half of my team. So it's grown pretty significantly.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, who's your favorite Super Smash Brothers character and why? This is tricky.
This is a really good one because someone that has not played a lot, right? I think the last time that I myself went in and played a lot of Smash was probably the GameCube, right? So I might be dating myself a little bit. But the character that I enjoyed the most playing was Mr. Game & Watch. I don't know, something about him throwing bacon at people was satisfying in some form or fashion, and you could change him to be completely different colors. So that one was a lot of fun. I think I probably had the most fun playing that character, but if I had to pinpoint somebody that I probably was I'm not going to say best at or most skilled, right? We're going to take that with a grain of salt, but probably what I did the most damage on was playing Link more than anybody else.
And completely honest, I think I do more damage to myself in this game than others do to me.
Friendly fire.
I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to Smash. So, looking at your time at NACE, what growth did you see in how colleges supported Smash Brothers and or other fighting games in your program in general?
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot more of that now. During my time at NACE, right, that was probably 21 to 23. I was there for about 2 years. And really I'm not going to say we were just scratching the surface for fighting games at that point, but really it was just kind of that first opportunity for schools to look into it. And typically if they are going to go with a fighting game, it is Smash, right? It has a much wider player base than any of the other fighting games that we're currently seeing right now. So, you know, games like Street Fighter and things like that didn't have that competition that was built specifically for university and college teams at that moment in time. So I think we've seen, as the industry has matured and has gotten more room, right, we've been able to see Nintendo work with some of the different folks that host competition in the education space and be able to kind of formally allow folks to be able to play Smash. And, you know, again, for a long time, that was, if you wanted a fighting game, that was the one, and that was really the only choice because it was the only thing that was rightfully sanctioned, right, and licensing was given. But now with the collegiate fighting games community, right, there is, you know, we're working with a ton of different IP and a ton of different groups to allow things like the Street Fighters to exist. So I think I've seen probably in the past year or two, I've seen kind of a big swing and kind of a dramatic increase in terms of the kind of those other opportunities outside of Smash being available and being a little bit more realistic to latch on to if that's what your student player base is into. During my time at NACE, right, that was probably the 21, 23 area, right? I was there for 2, maybe 3 years. Really kind of the growth that we saw for fighting games was specifically for Smash. I think when in collegiate esports, when those first kind of formative years, we really had to highlight the games that were most utilized and most being played by our students. So we did, I think, as an industry, start with Smash. So there is definitely some growth. Again, I think Smash is, you have to have the students that are interested in it in order to pursue it. You have to live. Usually it's very city dependent or state dependent if there's folks that are really crazy about the game or not. But now, I think over the past year or two, we've been able to see fighting games that aren't just Smash be able to see that growth and see them find support in the collegiate scene. I think a lot of that boils down to us needing to focus on what we could certainly get students for first, which was Smash. But now we're in this opportunity where different entities outside of NATES, like CFGC, are able to have conversations with the IP holders, right, for these other fighting games like Street Fighter and such, that we're able to start to build out that side of the industry for fighting games specifically. So I think we saw a lot of growth of my time at NACE, getting Nintendo on board and getting Smash and having that be more easily inserted into collegiate programs. And I think over the past couple of years now, we're seeing a point where we're going beyond that initial Smash community, and we are starting to consider some of these other more niche fighting games as opportunities.
We'll jump back into our Q&A with our Collegiate Esports Insider in just a moment. But first, a quick shout out to our today's sponsor, GameStop. Whether you're upgrading your campus club or gearing up for your tournament season, GameStop has everything you need to stay match ready. From controllers that can survive the sweatiest sets to fighting game titles for your next dorm room grudge match, GameStop has it all. Learn about what GameStop has to offer at GameStop.com.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us personally, we have a couple different fighting options, but here, something that I always forget to tell about myself is that I also am the esports coordinator for OzCon, which is the Ozarks Gaming Convention. And so we do a lot of, I think for the last 3 years, we do a lot of Guilty Gear tournaments, which is always interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's somewhat more of a niche title, but the community around here loves it. So that's so great. Yeah, it's one that's just blown up around here. So of the 3 fighting titles that we do for that convention, that's one of them.
I love that. Yeah, it does seem to be fighting games specifically do seem to be almost super concentrated right in these different little pockets, and inside different states, these different cities or counties or what have you have, that fan base, again, for the niche titles like the Guilty Gears and Mortal Kombats and things like that. So it does feel nice that we're starting, at least from the education side of things, that we are starting to see more opportunities for those students to take that, that love for that game and be able to turn it into something that can help them while, they're going through school.
Absolutely. With that, what were the biggest barriers that schools faced when creating Smash teams, and how did NACE help them overcome those challenges?
This is a really good question. I think probably one of the biggest challenges in the beginning was certainly just the opportunity to have the equipment ready for it. When a lot of these schools kind of launched their programs in the very beginning, they were being launched with only PCs in mind. So, I mean, my experience at Park University, right, it was they had built the facility before I had got there. So I walk in the door and it's already filled with 16 PCs and there's not a console in sight. So I think at first it was, maybe kind of a lack of institutional knowledge at that point in time that, yes, the majority of the most popular titles that students are going to want to compete in are found on the PC. But things like a Smash, right? There's one option and one option only. So I think there was a technology point of view was difficult. I think the second thing is operating Smash online is not the most enjoyable experience, unfortunately, right? We know that Nintendo servers that host online Smash play can be a little hit or miss at even the best of times. So I think what TOs like Nace have tried to do is, one, we go to Nintendo, we have a conversation, we get sanctioned licensing, right? That's the first key. But the other one is helping these schools that do want to actually pursue Smash, how to set them up for success in an online environment where the servers themselves are most challenging. So we try to supply those teams with, hey, here's everything that you need kind of open in your firewalls and open in your internet settings to make sure that you're set up the best, right? To find stable, successful internet connection with your components. We have TOs, right, that especially during Smash nights when folks are playing, right, we've got folks that the TOs that are there on staff that night, they're very trained in Smash and they know that online can be tricky, so they can help run lag tests, right, if you're not able to connect to your component. So I think it's really trying to help these schools with this competitive piece specifically to make sure that we try to keep intact that competitive integrity in a world where there's only so much that we can do and the rest of it is on outside of our control, right? So it's really supporting them in that moment during that competitive point of view.
Now, AJ, do you have any advice for students looking to get into collegiate esports?
Oh boy, do I ever. So I mean, Nick has found himself there, and we're so happy to have you, by the way. I'm very ecstatic about it. But I think for me, right, especially with my course, right, the esports and gaming management course, I obviously kind of touch on all of the different areas of esports right now, but I do think that if we're looking for stability, right, and an opportunity to work on skills and build them, I don't think that there's a better chance, right, to kind of get into esports than in education, right, whether that be K through 12, whether that be collegiate. It helps kind of afford you this opportunity to get some experience, right? Maybe before you want to jump directly into Team Liquid or Team Dignitas, right? But it also, right, it has that, an esports program being tied to a university or being tied to a high school, that does help you, right, as a fresh graduate, be able to have a little bit more confidence in I'm doing the esports thing, I'm getting skills, and I'm getting a pretty steady paycheck right at this point in time. So I think there's a couple of Discord servers that I would immediately join. I would stay in the game business, an esports Discord server, right, because we're posting a ton of job opportunities there. I would look into NACE. On their website, they have a job board, so anytime a NACE member school has a role that they're looking to fill, they post that on the NACE website as well. So there's some Discord servers, there's some websites, and I, right, having dabbled, one might say, in the collegiate space, I'm happy to review any resumes, right, any cover letters that are created. I do see a lot of value in the education space, and I think the more that we're able to take the students that are coming from this degree program or degree programs that are similar throughout the country, I think the more that we can insert y'all into these head coach roles and these director roles, it is going to help set us up for continued success, right? As you know, kind of the first gen, we got the ball rolling, but now we need, you know, some of these. You all have got great ideas and such a excitement to get in there and get that job done. So I think if we can continue to kind of inject that personality into our industry, it's just going to help us become stable, people to kind of look at collegiate esports and start taking it seriously. And both of those things put together is only going to continue to raise the bar for collegiate esports in general.
One thing that I would love to add to that is just maintain that network that you've created with the individuals while you're at school. I can't tell you the amount of times I've reached out and just asked for advice on anything from something as simple as, hey, where should I look to find this information, as to something as major as, should I join this committee for the NJC?
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. So even once you're past graduation, once you've entered into esports, whether as a player, coach, administrative, wherever you're at in that industry, keep that network, especially because GBEBS is right there. You can just reach out to anyone in there, and 9 out of 10 times someone is immediately there to answer you. So I will add that to that question.
I do. I was gonna say I love an email. I love a Discord DM, especially from. I mean, I tell you what. I talked to Goldie literally yesterday and over the weekend, right? Because he's like, hey, I'm ready. I'm looking to get into it. So, you know, where do we start? And I'm like, great, let's get some time. Let's figure it out. So, you know, any current student, any graduate that is looking to have a conversation other than teaching, right, which I guess is the main gig. My other favorite thing to do is connect with alumni, see where they're at, see what it is that we can do to support them as they move forward. I love that part of the job.
We love that you love that part of the job. All right. Well, AJ, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit down with us today and answer some questions. I know that aspiring esports players will appreciate this unique insight, but also keep in mind that people who aren't coming into esports to be a player will also appreciate this insight. So it's nice to see how colleges are handling the fighting game scene, and we just want to thank you.
Thank you for having me. I had a lovely time.
Thank you. I did as well.
Thank you, AJ, for your brilliant insight. In the holiday spirit, you gave many around the world the present of knowledge that very few people have. I know our viewers that are looking to take the next step into the esports journey are extremely grateful for your session. Up next, we have the main course. Oh my lord, the day is here. The Smash the Hall Super Smash Bros. Tournament final, where we have two fierce competitors looking to claim their stake at the top and take home the first ever. That's right, the Michael Jordan, the LeBron James, the first ever Smash the Halls event title. Let's throw it over to Wilds, our finals caster, who will walk us through their matchup. Over to you, Wild.
Yo, what's going on? It's Wild here, and we have a hype match going on. We got Yudo versus Tito. Yudo wins Pikachu versus Terry. This matchup is, on paper, terrible. However, Terry is a character of the comeback mechanic, so nothing's really ever out of the question for him. We got starting off with a power dunk, followed by a Pikachu down air. And that is going to be the usual game plan of a Pikachu. Just get the Terry off stage. His character's recovery is abysmal and pretty abusable. And with that power dunk automatically putting him off stage, a T-Jolt can chase him up the wall. And Pikachu SD, but hey, that's okay. You're Pikachu. There's no shame there. That recovery's a little weird. And we got dash attack to open up the Terry, down B to catch the high recovery. Forward airs just to cover his space, make sure Terry can't get back in. Good distance breaker, and Terry, he has the side B and the backward side B, both of them being two different side Bs. However, both kind of doing the same thing of get me in there. One has a lot of priority while the other one has iframes involved, like we can see there. And we got Terry would go, and this is when Terry's is scariest. However, this is where Terry's not the scariest, and it's off stage. And yep, no way to make it back. That character's recovery, abysmal, terrible, awful. You can't do anything. And Pikachu kind of getting schmixed here a little bit, missing a forward air, crack shoot catching him. Not much. Very good move in crack shoot. Instantly breaks whatever type of defense you can have. Shield being really only kind of option you can really get. Now, what I would love to personally see here is a little bit more out of shield play from the Pikachu. I feel like that would get him back pretty well, because this Terry seems to be clicking a lot of negative moves on shield. There we go, we got a parry in on a buster. On a crack, no, it's not crack shoot, I got that one. And we get a down B to catch the recovery. Just a giant wall of electricity. You cannot get in. F smash to catch the landing. Doesn't quite catch it. Down air to cover his landing. I like it. And we get a nair to down smash. That's a bread and butter. Good kill confirm. Also just helps just land. Gets them off stage. Alright, we got an edge guard situation here. Nice recovery to the platform. That's something Kalos is extremely good at. And we get the Buster Wolf. Just delete the rat. Got another Buster Wolf coming in. F tilt trying to cover that end lag. Nice crack shoot. Followed by Power Geyser. And he side B straight into the Pika F smash. Let's see what we can. Oh, double F smash. You can see he really wants this stock here. Jab, jab. Probably misinputted the power dunk, but he's fine. Damage is damage. You have Pikachu at 43. Generally light character. Terry packs a punch. You can delete him at any moment. Let's see what we got. A little bit of neutral. Dash attack trying to break the defense, but we get the jab, jab power dunk. Get the power waves coming in, clashing with the T-Jols. T-Jols being a little bit faster than power wave. Quite can't. Oh, and that's it. Yeah, that's a nightmare for Terry. Just getting spiked by Pika or even being off stage by Pika. Every character in this game is not safe. I don't care who you are. This character can catch you. All right. So I believe that was Yida with the dub. Yep. And we're getting character swap. Sonic versus Steve. All right. Well, this is such a change of pace. So before, with it being a little high pace, we have our high speeds. You get Pika who can run across the stage, and then you also get, and Terry who wants to be in your face. Now we have two characters that kind of like their own little zone. They don't really like to. The less interactions, the better, almost, for each other. Where Sonic can use his speed, where you would think he would use it to get in, he usually likes to use it to get away, as they say. Sometimes offense is the best defense, or defense is the best offense. He can do both. It doesn't really matter. But on the other side, we do have Steve here, who can build walls and just deny whatever game plan you want to do. And then the longer you let him, as you can see here, the longer you let him do what he wants, the stronger he gets, as he can mine those materials. TNT catching T-Dub. Nice F smash from the Steve, just trying to cover the landings, but not quite catching him. Yep, anti-air UFC without a recovery. Minecart coming in. He gets back. He gains all his resources. Upping straight to ledge. Nice forward air drag down. Try to convert it into a down tilt, probably for a back air. Alright. Yep, a nice avoiding the anvil. Nice job, 1, 2, 3 coming in from Sonic. Gets Steve off stage. Steve, recovery may seem a little linear until you realize that he can, like, up B down like that, and he can also just do crazy shenanigans with it. But Sonic, on the other hand, his recovery also looks very simple until you realize it has iframes in it. Nice up to up smash on the platform, though. We love to see it. Simple conversion. And as we can see, Steve has Diamond. That's huge, because that means that he will do so much damage with so little work. However, if he builds it now, he loses that Diamond for the next stock, which means you're probably only going to see Steve with wooden materials here for the next couple, next couple of seconds if T-Dub is able to delete this stock here. But any sort of percent you get from here on out as Yida is huge. It is giant. Because then you come in with that Diamond and you can just do some damage. Alright, speaking of, immediately build that Diamond. Yep, up tilt, forward air. That's the usual. Oh, spin dashing straight into the TNT block and pressure play. Nice minecart to get me out of there, and we love the armor. And the up smash anti-air, huge. That's not easy to react to. I personally suck at reacting to that move. Drag down forward air, down tilt, and yep, F smash. Every character is losing to that right there. Nice up smash from the Sonic, back here to cover the landing, and Village is dropping on by. Dirt block was in the way. Jab 1, 2, 3. Nice back here. There's a little bit of a just neutral interaction going on here. Both players to see who extends first. Steve gets rewarded, taking that center stage and rolling behind Sonic. Forward air, 2 nice forward airs, get him off stage, take it back. I like the spot dodge, knowing that Steve is going to choose a out of shield option. If you know you're safe, might as well abuse it. Now we're back to Steve on his last stock. No Diamond available this time. He didn't build too much of a lead, like good 2 hits here, and it's even. So we got 1 there. Next hit will bring it even, and it become a little scary. But, oh, there we go. Just 1 more hit, and it's pretty much there. Ooh, this is scary. And he has materials, but he makes it back just fine for only the up B, not needing the minecart. And there's just so much iron you get on this stage due to it being metal that Steve is just stacked on iron. So he can just actually sit here and just... He has minecart, he has down air, he has everything he needs possibly to just close out of stock. So it's a little scary for your Sonic, but you hit the F smash 2 frame, and that is ginormous. That is actually not easy to time. So that's a giant dub for T-Dub. Huge one. And I think that brings it 2-0 T-Dub favor, I believe. Or it's 1-1. But either way, you love to see it. Absolutely love to see. I like to see how interactive they were, because usually you would get like Sonic just kind of trying to figure out how to get in, but it looks like he was getting around the blocks just fine, knew how to deal with all of the shenanigans of minecart and all the shenanigans that Steve can do. And let's see what we get here. All right, we swap back to Terry, and we're on Town and City. So this is a change, because since this stage is made out of wood, Steve actually gets less materials, along with the side blast zones being smaller. Therefore, Terry can actually kill off the side pretty easily, and most of Steve's kill options actually aim towards the top. So with this having the highest with this having the highest blast zone on the top side, it is kind of hard to kill there. So as we see Steve just getting deleted off the side at a pretty early percent. No real rage on Terry, but it's just enough. A little bit of a character weight plus whatever side you're on. If you're anywhere closer to the edge, you just get deleted. No, he went for the read. I respect it. He was kind of correct, but he was just missing the spacing. And he reacted on time, which is kind of crazy. All right, minecart going back and forth. Buster Wolf, shout out to auto turnaround. And then followed by a power geyser. Yep, this is Terry's best thing that he can do. It's just a bunch of explosions that go, build a lead, and you can build a lead like this, where you're all of a sudden you're up a stock with go meter. And you're, as Terry, you feel confident. You're heavy. This is a stage with a high ceiling. Steve likes to kill off the top. Not much you can actually do as Steve, except try to land a finishing blow off of the side. Like right there, we got F smash. I would have loved to seen a grab and just get him off and abuse that bad Terry recovery. Because like you can build off stage, just stop him from up being, stop him from side being. But you finally close out the stock with a side B, aiming towards the side. That's what you love to see. Down throw, are we going to get a forward air? Alright. Didn't quite convert. Needed the jab first, a little bit of a fast move since there's less hit freeze. We got a crack shoot into up air. Let's see how else we can continue. Let's see if Yuta can bring it back. Nice F smash. This is huge. And he has a diamond sitting in the back pocket. So he can swing all willy-nilly as he wants, as long as he still has that other diamond. Oh, the nair is not safe even on parry. That's the thing with Terry. He is so fast. All of his frame data is actually insane. Can't do much about it. All right. Nice. I like this taking center stage. Get away from the side blast zones. The closer you are to ledge, the more you die. You get minecart back to stage. You love to see it. And we're going to see a down air? Or, oh, okay. All right. I like that he tried to punish it. I appreciate it. Trying to edge guard Terry can be scary, but it is what you need to do to win. And you are at 128, my friend, and that Terry, it does have go. He can explode you whenever he feels like it. All of his moves will just straight up take you to the blast zone, and that would be it. Bust Whip to close off. You get the cinematic finish. All of it's over. Not much you can do once you get hit by that grab, and that's pretty much it. So, I mean, I love to see it. I love the character swap. It worked, and I just hold this.
One thing right now, I don't like dishes. I also don't like cooking at home. Just ask my wife. Ha! Want to get back to playing Super Smash Bros. With your friends? Well, smash that delivery button on DoorDash today and see how DoorDash can deliver you a tournament winning experience.
Now we're going FD. Interesting. So we're sticking characters, same characters. We're not going to see the Pika come out from Yuta. So let's see what we got here. I know this is actually usually a really strong stage for both characters. I feel like it's a little scarier for Steve to be here, and when I say that, I mean Steve is more dangerous on this stage due to being able to down air at any point, and now he gets all materials evenly since it's one of the base stages. And that can be a little bit of a problem. See, like, he's already gotten gold. It's on a rotation. So if you know the material lineup, then you know what you're getting close to. And with him already being on gold, all of his moves hit harder and also are faster. But we'll see if he utilizes that. He can also just use it for whatever else you can use gold for. I'm pretty sure it might only just be tools. But we can see him getting back to stage. We see a ledge trap happening here. Terry just trying to down to his shield to get him to jump out. Nice side B coming in from Terry, avoiding the TNT, but we're falling right into the up smash that was beautifully set up by Ida. Alright, Tito just crack shooting a little bit, getting through those blocks. Nice power dunk, crashing straight into the minecart and breaking the armor. Oh, is that it? That's gonna close out the stock. Ew! But you get an SD. Yeah, you gotta jump up after that. Oh, see, I don't know if that was intentional, but pushing Steve out of crafting table is actually extremely good to do off the rip, especially if you have iframes, because you stop him from building also without throwing a move, which means that you're not necessarily any end lag for him to punish. Nice. I like the F smash to catch the falling back air, cover as the landing, and we're going to start seeing a ledge trap here. Are we going to start down tilting? No, we just want to power dunk. That's fine. That's really safe, and I respect wanting to be safe against this character. Crack shooting in the opposite direction, a little bit simple to happen. Nice forward air. Just walling out Steve, making sure you can't get back. Oh, but he got back to the center stage. What's your answer? He's gonna minecart, back air. He's taking the center stage back. And now you gotta work your way. Ooh, okay. Well, that's a huge thing of TNT being ginormous. So accidentally stepping on a pressure plate, but it working out for the Terry. And then we got power dunk, 1, 2, 3. Minecart catching. No follow-up from the Steve. That was actually his opportunity to bring that back. Little surprised he didn't go for the forward air or the back air there. Ooh, accidentally getting back into minecart, almost ruining his run here. Buster Wolf, not quite happening. Little bit unfortunate that Steve up smash does not hit behind. Otherwise, up smash would have been a perfect option. Ooh, and yep, the Buster Wolf catching the jump back on ledge and accidentally slipping off, not being able to shield. Only thing protecting there would have been an air dodge. And this is why Terry can't be slept on. Like, yeah, theoretically, he loses to Pika, he loses to Steve, but as long as you can delete someone at an early enough percent, that's all that matters. But that wraps up. I'm pretty sure that wraps up the set, as I saw them dap each other up. We got T-Dub taking it over Yida, 3-1. So congratulations to T-Dub. And that's it.
Whew. Oh my lord. Oh me days. Honey, get the Pepto. Well, I don't know why I need. What an intense match. What an absolutely brilliant match from T-Dub and Yida. Oh my god. They came to play and showed exactly what competitive Smash is all about. Congratulations to T-Dub on the victory and putting his name in the history books as the first ever Smash the Halls title winner. Well, for those who aspire to be in a community tournament like this, up next, we will be having a panel discussion with Vigilante D, Shattered, Relly, and Double C to talk about the community and the pro scene. Let's head over there now.
Hey everyone, welcome to Smash the Halls. This is Vigilante D. I am past experience and with fighting game community and the COD mobile scene as a tournament organizer and shoutcaster. I am currently a Full Sail student in his last year, and this is going to be a panel going over Smash. So I would like to introduce everyone. We're going to go ahead and start with you, Double C.
I'm Chris, also known as Double C. I've been in the Smash community for a little over 10 years. Been competing even longer than that, but about 10 years ago is when I entered as a tournament organizer, and since then I've done a lot of work for the local scene, as well as doing some volunteer work for larger Smash events, and eventually branching out to the broader fighting game community as well. Also a Full Sail student, it's my classmate.
Awesome. How about you, Riley?
Hi, hello there. I am Jarrell. A lot of people call me Rel, so I ended up making it Relly Rel. But I've competed in multiple different fighting games, and it all kind of started for Smash with me in the very beginning. And so I'm a little washed up now. Shadow could probably take me, but I'm also a Full Sail student, and that's pretty much it for me.
How's it going, everyone? My name is William, also known as Shatter. I'm the esports coordinator here at Full Sail University, and I am also a freelance tournament organizer and event organizer for different organizations such as CEO, DreamHack, and other organizations of that nature. My experience in fighting games, I've always been a fighting game fan. First, my father introduced me to fighting games way early on. I've been playing Super Smash Bros. Ever since Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and have not only ran tournaments and organized tournaments since that point, but have also played competitively since that point. So happy to be here with everyone.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We got a pretty good panel here between players and production side, so this would be a really good little touching point here. Let's start with what you guys would consider makes Smash different from traditional fighting games.
So I think the main difference is accessibility, right? Fighting games, in my personal opinion, require a lot of mechanical execution and require a lot of knowing of the thing. If you did not grow up in fighting games, if you don't understand the concept of holding back to block, doing dragon punches, and doing all that kind of inputs, it is a little difficult to get into, especially because if that is not a very close thing for gamers to do, right? But Super Smash Bros. Not only is it a series that has a different system entirely for combat. It doesn't have health, it just has stocks, it has percentages, so it does very different style,
and they just don't miss. Panel after panel, session after session, they just don't miss.
Hey everyone, welcome to Smash the
3D playing, it depends on the game. But when it comes to Smash Brothers, it's a platformer, so there's different little sections on the map that you could stand on, and that's not very common in the average fighting games that you come into these these days. But I would honestly say that that's probably the biggest thing for me. It's just the platforming aspect.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all on both of the different fronts, both being based in the platforming genre. And the accessibility. Have any of you played any of the Kirby series? Yeah, because of course they're made by the same guy. You see how much of Kirby's DNA bleeds into Smash Bros. In terms of controls. I think that is just really brilliant game design. But also the fact that Smash is based on such a variety of existing IPs and recognizable characters. A lot of other fighting games, they have original characters made for those games. Outside of your Marvel vs. Capcom, your crossover titles, the guest characters in Tekken, Mortal Kombat, etc. People are attached to these Nintendo characters, and I think that's one thing that also makes it very special, in addition to its mechanics and design.
That's a good widespread explanation, because Relly was saying with the platforms, I've always seen Smash as a more, not chaos in a bad way, but it's always way more chaotic than you would see with a normal NPC title. And then like you said, with the IPs is way different story, and I think there's been a lot of games that have attempted to do that, and they were the only ones that were really able to successfully pull it off. Which brings us to, what would you say separates pro players from newcomers into the scene?
All right, so I'm gonna rip the band-aid off and say the extremely obvious: dedication and time put in the game. For people to become pro players, you can't play 2 hours. You can't play an hour. People dedicate their entire lives playing these games, whether that be 8 hours, 12 hours. They constantly train. It's they put themselves in an immense amount of pressure, and obviously they have to manage their health, because not only like, yes, while a lot of top players got to that point where playing the game well, they have to like make sure they eat well, make sure they hydrate well, make sure they do all these things. It's very much important your body as a human to operate at that highest level, but also your skill level in the video game. So independently of what fighting game it is, and it doesn't matter the genre, you have to dedicate the time. With my experience as a former varsity Smash player for the Full Sail University, it was hours and hours and hours of egregious like playing the game, and like it was not fun. I'm not gonna say becoming a pro it is not fun, and it's a experience, but the gratification you get from the time put in and the dedication you put in, it is absolutely amazing compared to all the things you can do. So I think like, yes, it's a lot of effort, yes, it's a lot of work, but the reward you get is absolutely compared to like the effort you put in. I'll let Double C speak up because he has some more of that.
To piggyback on what you said, I think like what really sort of like unsung like key aspect of that is managing the efficiency of all the time that you spend. Because there's a lot of people that spend all day on the game and they're miserable. I'll tell you what, I was not good at games. At this stage in life, I might never be really good at games, but even since I've been competing since I was a teenager, like a trap that I fell into was not using the time that I invested in the games efficiently in terms of doing what's fun versus what will help me actually improve.
Yeah, that's what's always made fighting games different. It's that technical aspect of it. It's that strategy, and like Shattered was saying, it's just straight dedication to the game itself, to what you love. So how much does character choice matter at the higher level of competition, in your opinions?
So, Super Smash Bros., for example, I'm going to just jump in here. Super Smash Bros., for example, it matters, but it is more for your own mental sanity more than anything, because you can make it work. I've seen Ganondorf at the highest level. I've seen characters like Little Mac at the highest level, and any other fighting game I've seen low tiers beat high tiers. But it is exponentially more difficult to do things with a lower tier character. Now, one of the GOATs in Tekken, his name is Rengchu. He's an absolute monster and demon at that game. Won Tekken World Tour with the Panda. And if we all know, the Pandas in Tekken are not great. So it's just one of those things where like you just have to really dedicate yourself into, like what we mentioned before, playing the game, dedicating, like putting those extra hours in, and efficiently, like Double C was.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a touchy subject because people waffle about character choice, especially now because fighting games tend to have better roster balance now than they did 20 years ago. Back in the arcade era or the early console era. I think it depends a lot on the player's goals. Do you want to be the best player in the world, or do you want to be the best player of your character? If you're just trying to win, pick a top two. Pick the best thing that you're comfortable with. Use all the tools that are available at your disposal. I saw a discussion relatively recently that was about Spargo, who I believe is I'm not sure if he's still number one or still in the running for number one in the world in Smash Ultimate.
I'd say he's up there. I'd say he's up there in definitely top 5.
At least top 3. Yeah.
Yeah, top 3, top 5.
Yeah, kid is amazing at the game and has been amazing for years. But he had this tournament run with Piranha Plant, widely considered to be a low tier character. I want to say that was last year or earlier this year. I don't know, but had this amazing one with Piranha Plant, and people were like, guys, truly, every single character is amazing. You can get it done with every character. And then I see a cynic on the other side is like, all right, here's another alternative headline. It took the best player in the world 5 years to win a relatively weak tournament with a mid-tier character who's still not the worst. I don't know. I think perspective matters a lot, and like Shadow said, it depends a lot, like what you're willing to endure. Like even if character viability on paper technically doesn't matter all that much if the game is relatively well balanced, it matters what your opponents are willing and able to exploit in terms of your character choice.
Which would make me ask, what do you think about counter picking?
All right, so viable strategy. I'm not gonna hold. So like I am of the mentality, and this is just the school thought that we practice here at the Armada team. If you are succeeding with your character, do not swap. Make sure you are a god in that character first before you swap off, because you are hindering yourself because you're adding already more to your mental stack, right? You're having a completely different moveset, a completely different point of view. Like it's all completely different, especially like, let's say for example, you're playing a Lucas, you move to a Pyra Mithra. You're playing a Huarang and you play a Jin Kazama. You're playing a Ryu and then you're playing a Blanca. Like there's so much like difference in those character archetypes that doing yourself the disservice of applying more mental stack to yourself is absolutely not. While valid at the highest level, I think most players will benefit from not.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good way to put it. And I think that should always be a strategy pick for everybody. Until you're ready for it, don't try to get fancy till you're fancy. But so what do you think is the most underrated skill in competitive Smash as of right now?
Drinking water.
That's a good one. I would say maybe just a concept of just like space control, like on the stage, like trying to maintain the center of the stage, keep your opponent out of it. I think as you start to progressively get better and better at not just like games in general or fighting games in general, but specifically Smash, just like consistently trying to fight for like the center of the stage, especially because like as like a platformer, like there is like being off the stage. You can get knocked off, and then that's where like edge guarding and stuff comes into play. So being able to be in the center of that stage is very, very important, and I feel like that's an important skill that people should keep in mind when they're trying to get better at the game or things of that nature.
Big emphasis on stage control. I was gonna say I offer this advice to people who ask me for coaching or like VOD review when I don't actually have the game in front of me or a video in front of me or anything. Look at what better players or look at what your opponent does when they're not actively attacking you. See how they take space. I think that's a pretty
very good point.
Underrated
Pretty good way to put it.
aspect of the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna harp on like one more time on stage control. I know I said water. You semi-jokingly earlier, but like taking care of yourself is really important. But like in game, stage control is vital. If I could tell you how many times I lost games, and this is me personally, I lost games because I decided to be not at the center of the stage, I would be a millionaire. But it's one of those things where like you're not thinking about it in the middle of it because you're just trying to hit your opponent, you're trying to get in their face, you're trying to do all your things. Or if you're playing a campy character, you're trying to keep them as far away as you as possible. But like center stage is very, very important to Super Smash Brothers in that aspect because like it will 9 times out of 10 benefit you to your advantage.
Okay. So when it comes to read-based or reaction-based, what would you consider ultimate right now?
Good question. I mean, I would personally say it's more read-based, but to be fair, I am washed up. I'm the washed king, I don't know, Shatter, if you wanted to say, since you probably played more recently.
So I would say it is much more field-based. So like, yes, reactions are important. Yes, reading your opponent is important. it is definitely because like it's a tempo, right? Depending on the character will set the tempo, and you disrupting or matching that tempo is going to be the thing that's going to ultimately succeed you in the game. While reading gives you that advantage because if you know that person's gonna roll in this specific situation, or you are conditioning that person to do this situation, you will get that read. You will get that stock. But if you're both equal level and there's no budging, you can do, reaction slash.
Sometimes you need to figure out how the pros do it, from how they set up their controllers to which settings they tweak, or even how they stay energized and ready for competitions. Actually, we got that one figured out. Smashburger is a proud sponsor for Smash the Halls. Want to play like a pro? Make the pro choice. Eat Smashburger.
I'm looking at it through the technical side. I'm inclined to believe, based on like how the game's functions and mechanics work, I'm inclined to believe it leans more heavily into reads due to, one, the game has way faster frame data than most fighting games, as far as I understand, and it has a ton of input latency. Like the Switch has, I want to say, I'm not sure if it's the hardware or Smash Ultimate itself, it has like 6 frames delayed built in.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the game itself. Yeah, it's the game itself.
At a point, it is physically impossible to react to certain things because the hardware is working against you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the only thing to that I would add to that is that like that's why that you have to have both. It's reading, like if you just rely on reading your opponent, if your opponent does dumb options, because they're gonna do dumb options, because that's literally how that happens. You can't read dumb, you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where like, unless they're doing it consistently enough to where like, okay, I'm expecting this person to be completely like matching their controller with their face, you have to have a healthy mix of both, in my opinion. But I get where you're coming from, absolutely, because the hardware does work, especially online, but we don't talk about it.
Don't get me started on fighting games online.
Speaking of fighting games online, would Smash or the fighting game community benefit from more coaches being involved, or do you think part of the culture is being a player-driven one-on-one esport?
This is a very difficult question. It's a very difficult question.
It's controversial for sure, right?
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm gonna talk about one of the greatest Smash players of all time, Mewtwo King. He was a player that either coached or needed coaching at some point in his life. Because sometimes you just need somebody to tell you to chill out. You don't even need in-game advice. You just need someone to like be there and tell you, hey, I need you to like relax and play your game. That's right. That is very much like part of what you need. So while not coaching necessarily, that having someone with you, that one-on-one culture can work, but having someone that's also more knowledgeable in the game helps tremendously. I don't know what my comrades.
I think I get what you're saying. Like that voice in the back of your head. It's good to have that secondary, like, hey, chill out. You're here for a reason.
I know it's definitely a controversial one, especially when there have been back and forth debates of waffling about should mid-game coaching be allowed. I know probably y'all probably familiar with this, yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. It depends on the kind of competition, depends on the level of play. My stance is I think it is, if you have a ruling against it, it might be difficult to enforce, like practically, you know? Like, how many incidences have there been where someone who's not a competitor is screaming call-outs from the audience? You know, punish a player because someone else gave them advice unsolicited. Like, I don't know, I think that's tricky in terms of, you know, mid-set coaching. But outside of the mid-set context, I think that's pretty interesting. And it also helps with the social aspect of fighting games, you know?
Yeah. And with social, how would you all think that communities play into keeping an FGC scene alive?
It's the only way.
It's crucial. Yeah.
That's agreed. It doesn't matter what kind of events for. It doesn't matter what scene I'm in. If it's an FGC, there's always a massive community behind it.
It's because of the origins, right? And sorry to cut you off, though, see, but like the origins of everything was you were at your friend's house or at an arcade, and you were playing for fun with your friend, and that is the origin of like the fighting game scene, right? That's why it's called the fighting game community. Now, as more things get more professional, as things get more at the higher level, like obviously getting that developer backing, sponsorship backing, all those things have been absolutely wonderful for the fighting game community. I think 2XKO is going in a wonderful direction when it comes to that, where they're directly supporting instead of making their own league, they're directly supporting the organizers, which I think that is a big W for Riot, in my personal opinion. But the community will still be crucial, because if people don't show up to the tournament, guess what? The people are gonna be like, you know, I don't think this is a good idea. They just back out. So like the viewership is all based, it's community based. The activations are all community based. Tournaments are all community based. The fighting game community, the community and fighting game community is super essential.
And that tight knit community also, it seems like it's always kept people honest in the community. So like you're saying, I don't know if I'm going to show up. Like they would never hear the end of it.
Yeah, I think in terms of locals, I think it's really important that the social aspect sort of balances the competitive aspect, right? Because like competition is going to bruise your ego. No one wants to have their ego damaged, you know. But it's this, if nothing else, having your friends, that social aspect around will keep you around, right? Sometimes they're going to babysit you. They're going to babysit your ego. But hey, they're good friends. They won't tell you what you want here. They're like, no, dude, you didn't block that. Hold that, you died. You were mashing on defense. That's why you got hit. Like, you know, the social aspect is sort of complements and acts as a buffer to, you know, the competitive angle.
If I had $1 for all the time my friends told me to block that and I didn't block that and I got punished and raged over it, I would be in a very good spot. It's you need that. Like there's so many, especially here at the Armada Club gatherings, a lot of new players get real tilted. I'm like, oh man, I should have blocked that, man. I'm like, brother, this is how the game works. You hold back. You have to hold back. You see this button right here, you hold this. If you're pressing buttons, if you're pressing all these buttons and not holding this, you're cooked. You're chopped. There's no other way.
One of my favorite things is like teaching someone or observing someone who I think was learning Guilty Gear. They're like, I was blocking. And you know, Guilty Gear Strive is gonna tell on you counter. Like, no, you were not blocking, sir. Just because you were mashing buttons while holding black does not mean you were blocking.
Nope.
So what makes the FGC unique compared to other esports communities, in your opinions?
I think Shatter hit on the head, arcade culture for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely missed in a lot of places.
Yeah, it's arcade culture because like if you go to a Call of Duty land, right? Everyone's on PC, everyone's really sweaty, no one wants to talk to nobody. Like it's very much a dog eat dog world. While in the fighting game community, like you can go talk to most top players and they'll be super chill about it and they'll be like super approachable because like at the end of the day, whether that be in Las Vegas, you're playing at the giant stadium or you're playing at Julio's taco stand down the road, like it is all, we're all there to just hang out and play the game. So like that's why like the community aspect is that's why it's tight knit, and I think that's why it's survived a lot of the bursting of the esports bubble, because we all know as esports professional, this stuff is not so 100% real yet. Like let's be honest, like I'm being completely like it is growing and it's becoming more and more stable as the years pass. But like MLG came and went. Esports, we don't know how long.
Bring up MLG not going there.
Esports World Cup is here. We don't know how long that's gonna stay. You know, it's one of those things where, but like what we can count on is that fighting game tournaments, big or small, will still be there.
Yeah, we still have like big structural goals that are in our future that we still have to collectively work toward. But in the meantime, as long as I have a extension core, I'll play games in the parking lot. I don't need a venue. Like, that's how we do this all the time. I carry all kinds of things in my car. I'm like, hey, you guys want to play Third Strike in the parking lot? Like, I don't know. We'll bust out anything in this car. Anywhere, anytime. You got anything to add, Ro?
Yeah, I mean, I think even just for like fighting games and like the FGC, the feeling of like we're all in this together when it comes to like newer games and stuff like that coming out. Like, you know, like for example, like 2XKO drops and like everyone's like on like Twitter or YouTube or whatever talking about, oh, like I found this, I found that. And so like just like that aspect to the community that like you don't really find in other like video game or esports communities. It's just that togetherness, I would say.
Okay. So if you guys had let me put it differently. For us being students in the final years that we are, some of us with more experience than others, do you have any advice for those aspiring to get into the professional fighting game scene, and what advice would that be that you would give them?
Do the thing. Talking about the thing is not doing the thing. Thinking about the thing is not doing it. Do it. Run a Smash tournament. Run a bad 2XKO tournament. Run a bad stream. Do everything that you need to and just get it out there. There's
You'll
so
get better
many
by not trying.
Correct. There's so many talented like production, fighting, like actual fighting game players or anything. Like they don't want to do things because they're scared of failing. But that is how you grow. I ran when I was a student. I ran 10-man Smash tournaments. I ran 50 Smash tournaments. I ran events in the Fortress. I ran events in the library. I ran, like, it's all about really doing the thing and really just putting all your effort to that. So no matter what level of it, this applies to any esports, but fighting games are just much more accessible because all you really need is a copy of the game, 2 people to play.
Yep. I think my favorite piece of advice is just you only lose if you don't learn. No matter what happens, you're gonna take in game or out of game, you're gonna take a lot of losses. Trust me. When I first got into like fighting games, hours on end, I was just getting like speed up. I was just like, what about the next game? You gotta just keep coming back and keep trying out, and you'll eventually get it. And that's my advice for sure. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you all touched on the notions of failure and taking losses, because I used to be a super duper rager at games. I have been in YouTube thumbnails screaming at people. Like, I've seen the best of it and I laugh at them. I've been in the worst of it. Like, to this day, we still have those come through the local scene. We have like a bar tournament every Monday, and we're like, look at that guy making an ass of himself. He's throwing a tantrum. Like, I don't know. We love laughing at him, but I think at one point when I started to grow out of this, I developed a mantra. Call it the gamer's prayer. 1, I will not tie my self-worth to the game. It's sad this needs to be said, but like, it's something people struggle with. 2, I will not tie my enjoyment of the game to winning. 3, I will let go of my fear of failure, and it will set me free. 4, finally, if I cannot have fun while losing on the path to improvement and victory, maybe competitive games aren't for me. I think one of the most powerful things you can do, especially in the context of fighting games or competitive games, is just being able to, walk away or look at it with a level mind and say, maybe it's not for me. Or at least maybe competing isn't for you. Because there's lots of other opportunities for you to make your space, make your way in the space, I touched on production, tournament organizing, casting, content creation, things like that.
There's a place for everybody.
No, I really want to harp on that mantra because I realized for me, competitive Super Smash Bros. Is not it for me. I especially after playing online crew battles where it was me and my team versus other colleges, and I was upset, angry, full of rage. I'm like, no, I'm done. I can't. And I pivoted to casting, pivoted to TO, and pivoted to all these things because it's just dude, just because everyone's on the spotlight getting the lights popping off, that doesn't have to be you. You can be the guy behind the camera, you can be the production, you can be the producer, you can be the caster. You know how important there's so many gaming, Evo Moment 37. The moment that moment is so hype is because you can literally hear everybody screaming at the background after all those parries. It's all these historic fighting game moments have voices and people behind that are just besides.
Who's the most important person in that video?
I would say the
Good
crowd.
question.
The dude holding the camera is what I was gonna say.
The dude holding the camera. No, that guy is the GOAT. That guy is the GOAT.
There's so many people that just, like me, for instance, I just want to be a part of it. And like you said before, Shattered, if you just do the thing. You don't have to be fancy until you're fancy. At some point or another, something's gonna kick you in the teeth. You just gotta keep moving forward. And you gotta try it. You gotta find that thing that really you fit into. And once you do, it just takes away itself. This has been an awesome advice session. I appreciate everything you guys gave, and thank you for sitting down with us today, and appreciate you for taking the time to provide those insights to the Full Sail students and provide your knowledge into the FGC community and Smash. So I appreciate you all, and I think this has been awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And they just don't miss. panel after panel, session after session. They just don't miss. Thank you, everyone who put this event together, from our Professor Godsey to everyone, the team members that we had behind me. It's truly been a privilege and an honor to have this event with you guys. It has been a memory I would hold forever, and hopefully our viewers who have watched this event hold this memory forever. The good and bad, the hideous, the ugly, it don't matter. We made memories today. Thank you for everyone who helped create this event, and thank you truly for tuning into this event. Please remember just to stay just a little bit longer for the post-event survey. Give us some feedback and let us know what we can do better for next year's Smash the Halls. Truly, happy holidays. Thank you so much. Stay safe out there and have a good night.